Imagine guilt made flesh, not the quiet ache of regret, but guilt as a living nightmare. Winged demons with serpents for hair, breathing fire, their talons reaching for your throat. In 1862, William-Adolphe Bouguereau painted what may be the most visceral depiction of psychological torment ever committed to canvas: Orestes, pursued by the Furies. A young man stumbles forward in absolute terror, his body twisted in flight, his face a mask of horror. Behind him, three monstrous figures surge through darkness and flame. The Furies, ancient spirits of vengeance with bat-like wings, crowned with writhing serpents, their mouths open in eternal accusation. This is not an enemy he can escape. These creatures are born from his own crime, manifestations of guilt so profound it has torn through the veil between the psychological and the physical. This painting depicts one of the darkest moments in Greek tragedy. Orestes, having murdered his own mother to avenge his father, is now hunted by the Furies, divine punishment for matricide. This is a portrait of conscience itself, of the inescapable nature of moral consequence. Let us discover why, more than 160 years after its creation, it remains one of the most psychologically disturbing paintings in Western art. William-Adolphe Bouguereau is remembered as one of the greatest masters of French academic painting. Born in 1825 in La Rochelle, France, he studied at the École des Beaux-Arts under François-Édouard Picot. In 1850, he won the prestigious Prix de Rome, studying in Italy for 4 years and immersing himself in Renaissance masters like Raphael. By the 1860s, Bouguereau had established himself as a star of French academic tradition, creating works characterized by flawless technique and idealized beauty. But Orestes, Pursued by the Furies, reveals another side, not the painter of serene goddesses, but an artist capable of depicting raw terror, of transforming mythological horror into something psychologically real. The painting draws upon Aeschylus's Oresteia, exploring the cycle of vengeance and the birth of justice. Orestes returns home to find his mother Clytemnestra has murdered his father Agamemnon. Commanded by Apollo to avenge his father's death, Orestes obeys and kills his own mother. But matricide, even when divinely commanded, is unforgivable. The Furies awaken, the Erinyes, primordial goddesses of vengeance, born from the blood of Uranus. They exist to punish crimes against the natural order, and there is no crime more unnatural than a son killing his mother. The Furies pursue Orestes relentlessly, invisible to everyone else, driving him to madness. In Greek belief, they were real, existing in the space between external and internal worlds, where guilt takes shape and becomes inescapable. Bouguereau chose to depict the pursuit itself, the moment of peak psychological intensity. This is Orestes running from something he can never outrun. The composition divides the canvas into two opposing forces: human vulnerability and supernatural vengeance. Orestes stumbles forward on the left, his body twisted in desperate flight. The three Furies surge toward him through smoke and flame on the right. Orestes is rendered with characteristic anatomical precision, young, athletic, nearly nude save for a red cloth. But this is not heroic nudity, this is complete vulnerability. Every muscle tenses in flight. His face is a masterwork of terror, his eyes are wide, his mouth open in what might be a scream. This is not a hero facing a challenge. This is a man confronting something beyond human capacity to endure. Not just fear of physical harm, but the knowledge that his pursuers are right, that he deserves this punishment. The Furies themselves are rendered with the same precision, making them infinitely more horrifying. There are three: Alecto, Megaera, and Tisiphone. They are naked, their bodies female but grotesque, their flesh the colour of shadow and ash. Their faces are aged, contorted with fury, mouths open in eternal accusation. Their hair is living serpents, writhing and hissing, some with fangs visible, symbols of the venomous quality of guilt that spreads and infects everything. These creatures are not evil. They are justice, terrifying, merciless, absolute. The background is atmospheric horror. Smoke billows through the scene, illuminated by an infernal red glow suggesting underworld fire. The ground is rocky and barren. The painting is dominated by dark browns, blacks and greys, punctuated by violent reds. Consider something remarkable about this painting. In 1893, Edvard Munch created The Scream, arguably the most famous depiction of psychological horror in Western art. The entire image is distorted, expressionistic, forms breaking down under inner terror. Later, in 1944, Francis Bacon painted his nightmarish interpretation of the Furies, twisted, screaming forms with gaping mouths, rendered in violent oranges and greys. Both Munch and Bacon understood that to depict internal horror, you must break reality itself. You must shatter form, distort the human figure, make the canvas scream. But Bouguereau reaches that same level of psychological collapse while maintaining absolutely perfect academic technique. Every muscle is anatomically correct. Every proportion is classically ideal. The execution is flawless. And somehow this makes it worse. There is something deeply uncanny about seeing psychological disintegration rendered with such cold precision. Munch and Bacon give us permission to look away. Their distortions signal subjective nightmare, but Bouguereau offers no escape. His painting insists, this is real, this is happening. This terror is as solid and undeniable as flesh itself. The horror is not in the breaking of reality. The horror is in reality itself, rendered with perfect clarity. Orestes Pursued by the Furies remains a powerful meditation on guilt and justice. It asks uncomfortable questions. Can any crime be justified, even by divine command? The painting reminds us that some actions once taken cannot be undone. This is the genius of great art. The Furies are still in pursuit, and we are still running.